Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Now, for today's video, I'm actually going to explain something a little bit problematic for a lot of people in the game because a lot of YouTubers actually will go against what I'm saying right now. And when I explain it to you, it's going to make some difference. It won't make the biggest difference ever to you. But here's the reality of the game that we're playing, New World. New World is a company based activity, and you require the collaboration of a company for things to work out good for you. Here are some of the things you should not do. You should not take every activity on yourself. Crafting is a activity that should be left to the crafters in the high form. You can take on crafting and make small items here and there, but don't take away the basics from your crafter's core. Similarly, when it comes to your PvE core, don't take away the basis of their PvE activities from them. Make sure that they're always part of your baseline teams. You're looking for a tank, look for a PvE tank instead of a PvP tank. PvP is always there. There is always a place for a PvP player to go and waste his gold, waste his time, and waste his effort. They always have something to waste on. When it comes to PvE players, there are a limited number of items to do. They actually do something that helps others in the game instead of trying to harm others. I have a very big thing against PvP as a main focus for a lot of things, and here are some of the reasons why. In most companies, PvP players wash out super fast. They reach the end game and they have nothing to do. They take on the PvE quest line, they complete their PvE activities, side quest missions, and then they are left stuck with nothing to do. They then will generally attack the crafting market and jump into the crafting. They become a casual player by default with the way they jump around at that point. And that is where things really start to fall apart. I don't have any other maths here. And that's where things really start to fall apart for companies. Your casuals become your mainline. Your casuals, sorry, not become your mainline. Your casuals end up breaking in with all your PvE players. It makes you have about 50 casual players because they start jumping around from task to task. Casual players will dip their fingers into just about every task in the game. They're not very proficient, they're very wasteful in terms of resources, and it's better to keep them out of your funds. Now, I know that sounds like a real heavy thing to do, and it is the way that most PvP players will function. Here's the thing, you can't PvP 100% of the time. You have to do missions and you will do PvE missions to try and get yourself that little bit of leeway into other aspects of the game. You're going to do the main story, everybody has to, you need the staff. You're going to do expeditions, everybody needs it. You're going to look for schematics for high level weapons. But here's the catch. If you break yourself into everybody just going casual and you allow the PvP core to jump into the casual core and just ruin your entire focus, remember you have two particularly focused teams who have a function from day one all the way till the day the game ends. The PvE core is so important for taking you through missions and encounters that there is no underestimating the actual value. Then it comes to your crafter's core. Your crafter's core, if you structure your crafter's core correctly, you will have an unbelievable advantage on enemies for your PvP. Kind of counterproductive performance that the PvP guys want everything at 100%, but this is the reality behind it. When your crafter's core has all the schematics required, your legendary weapons, your legendary items in terms of furnishing, the legendary trophies, everything up and ready for them to craft for you, you win as a company because they'll get you into void armor quite quickly. You have 25 members who are busy refining mats for you. That gives you a total of 25 people with high end refined mats. There are no schematics to help you with refining, so everybody can do refining. But when it comes to crafting, it does make a difference who crafts. There are a there are a ton of schematics, and just to say the least, here's an example. I have a few schematics learned in furnishing. I've given away quite a few, but you'll find there's this one here, old straw cot. It's one of the best items for leveling your furnishing because of its low level pricing. I've actually given away a few of the schematics in the past. That's because there were others who wanted to be part of the core and it did make a difference. And there's also this one here which I have. you can see that this here is really an expensive recipe. 30 timber, 15 iron ingots, 2 ashtane. This is the cheapest item here. This is a little bit more costly of an item. It isn't super expensive, but it is a little bit more costly. And the wood is the next costly item over there. Now, obviously, this overall isn't a very expensive item. It most probably competes with this in terms of cost. But in terms of overall experience gain, I'd say this here would be a better item for you to go after because you can always refine pure raw iron ore for levels, gains you efficiency. You can always refine greenwood for timber. But it does affect your end game if you're going to craft this because you're going to keep salvaging and all you're going to get back is the timber. You're going to lose all the iron. This is a very cheap item. No matter what you get back, it doesn't really matter. Why is it showing this? Well, it isn't showing the stroke cut for its emblem. Now, when you get these high level items crafted and you've got a ton of XP all set in these items, you end up with a massive advantage. In the end of the day, these are some of the things you have to think about as an individual player. If you have a million resources in the game and you spend it all on crafting old straw cots and everybody goes for it across the entire company, everybody can have 100% uh, furnishing, right? 200 level in furnishing, everybody is a good maker of trophies. But here's where the catch comes in. You get schematics for legendary chests. Now, a legendary chest can expand your storage in each town that you have a house in by 1,000, let's say, right? And you can put a total of 4 chests in the highest tier house. So that's 4,000 total extra storage. That's a massive amount of storage. If everybody tries to get it individually, the price of that schematic isn't 4,000 divided. Let's say that the schematic costs 50,000, right? Because that would be a fair price for it. 50,000 divide your entire company's allocation, it'll make it 2,000 per person, right? 2,000 per person to make that legendary chest. But if your entire company decides they want to do it for themselves, this is the cost of that material for your entire company. Instead of 2,000 per person, it becomes 50,000 times 100. That's 5 million gold cost for the company. Now, obviously, the 2,000 cost was very low. You funnel your maths to a single individual, they make the item for you, and you win, they win, everybody wins at the end of the day. The cost for the item was really low. They charge you 2,000 as a one-time fee to get the chest made up. It recuperates their cost in getting the schematic. You win, they win, everybody is happy. At the end of the day, they can sell the chests on the market, a nice good percentage, and everybody wins again. But that is the reality behind working as a company. You want to make sure your costs are as low as possible. Even if you have level 200 engineering, if you aren't a main line crafter, don't offer your services up because you are impacting the main crafter. If the main crafter sees there is no profit in it for them, they won't purchase that high level schematic. And everybody's going to have to purchase it on their own eventually. And with the drawback of everybody asking for money at the end of the day to try and make up the cost in getting the schematic, nobody's going to end up purchasing from you. Makes the cost really heavy and you end up losing as much as everybody else. Now, that is one of the reasons for you to play as a team and make sure that you are divided well. Similarly with the dungeons, if you have a PvE core, now please understand that this is my understanding of how it would work. I know I'm not doing anything interesting in the game because this is just basically an explanation on crafting, but for the PvE core, it works very similarly. You get guys who will master the route through a dungeon, right? Expedition, sorry, not a dungeon. And when they're doing this expedition, you're just going to get this perfect flow of synergy. They're going to tell you where to go, how to do things. Everything will be done to a T. You're not going to have to repair your gear 101 times to get through, say, for example, the depths. Say, for example, Dynasty. Now, Dynasty Shipyard is a difficult mission to complete. I've seen people struggling in there for over an hour. Learning the basic mechanics, having somebody who knows the basic mechanics can pull you through quite easily. When you end up saturating that mechanic and you have a bunch of PvP players with a PvE player, your mindsets don't really flow the same. You end up using different methods and you end up wiping through over and over again. While the PvE player can get you through um, a PvE core of 4 members, can get a single PvP player through in 45 minutes through Dynasty. A full team of 4 PvP players with 1 PvE player will get you through in 2.5, maybe 3 hours. If you are a really gifted group of players, it's possible that you're going to do it in 45 minutes, but that's provided you know the mechanics. While the PvE core will always offer that ability for other players. You're also going to have a lot of repetition for your PvE players to do expeditions, giving them a fun activity to repeat. Now, overall, this does make a big difference. It's one of the reasons why I help out randoms. I'm basically taking up the role as a PvE core member, although I am a crafting core member who doesn't have a place in my own crafting core. Makes things really contradictory in that whole method. But overall, what it does for the majority of players on the server is it makes things really comfy. It makes things a lot easier for you. 45 minutes to a run of Dynasty. You pick up a legendary item schematic, and now you have legendary healing staffs. Legendary healing staffs for your PvE core, for your PvP core. Your next war, you're more efficient on healing. You're more powerful at healing, and you have a higher hit rate when you have to attack someone with your healing staff. You win, everybody wins because you are more efficient. That's because you managed to do 100 runs of Dynasty instead of 5 runs of Dynasty in the day. You have too slow of a team, you're going to get 5 runs done. You have a 45-minute team, remember it's a core of 25 players. When you separate it out into 4 members, that's 8 teams that's going in every 45 minutes. That's how come I'm saying 100. And 4 people getting the end chest, the chance of getting a schematic is that much higher. While if you're doing it on the slow range where people don't know what to do, 2 hours, 30 minutes repeat, people can only stay on the game for 10 hours. That's 4 runs in a day. 4 runs of a total of 50 people, you still might be ending up with similar figures, but you aren't ending up with the best. If you kept using the PvE core, you always have that high efficiency and you learn what to do. Eventually, you can help others, and your PvP core and PvE core can work together to get the entire alliance through. You can take randoms from other companies through and make your chance of them later on, and that's how you keep going up. Now, once you finish with that, you've got Lazarus, you've got Genesis. If your PvE core can master their mechanics and get you through those activities, it's a win for everybody. Higher drop rates, higher gear scores, everybody wins. Unfortunately, that is just the thing of how the mechanics work within the game. If you are well organized, you keep moving in that method. And everything gets easier later down the line. Yes, everybody does saturate the PvE core, but the PvE core will end up only being a Genesis running team. The 4-man main line, and you can just slot in wherever you are needed from whichever core you're coming from. Crafter's core, you can't really do much. You just play as a DPS, you jump in. You're a full out tank like myself, you jump in there, they let you swap out for the tank. One of the worst positions to take up as a casual is the tank because the tank is a dedicated role. He leads the team where they need to go. And that will make a big difference. You have 2 different formats even within PvE. You've got the speed run and you've got the regular run. Speed runs are very dangerous because your team can wipe on a frequency. You end up distracting your enemies. You end up splitting aggro a lot, and the tank isn't really effective in a speed run. It's better to have DPS with the Cornelian Jewel instead of having a full out tank as your lead role in that situation. Okay, so everything has been explained in the basics for why you need to make sure that your teams are broken up accordingly. This is the problem with the PvP core. PvP core will never ever have that type of a dedicated role. They don't make an activity easier. PvP is just PvP. They can win an area for you in a war. There's it, right? That is their functionality, to win areas for you in wars. Wars occur not every time, all the time. That is why they generally have that habit of dipping their fingers into everybody else's aspect of the game. They aren't the most efficient, they aren't the best at the game, they're just there to help you gain that little edge. And giving your roles away by having PvP members jump into PvE, by having PvP members jump into crafting, really hurts the overall aspect of the game. It also hurts in other aspects, which I will explain now. Now, I have been sitting on just the screen. This is an issue of engineering. For example, the musket. As you can see, you have this musket here, long shot. As you can see, the score went up. Now, if you keep going down, you're going to get a better musket and a better musket all the way till we come here. This one starts at a 565 basic level. If you have the right skills on your items that you are wearing, you add 25 to the minimum score. That takes it up to 90. That means 590 is your minimum, your maximum is above 590. If you have the right set of trophies, you add in an additional 5 to that minimum score. No, sorry, not 5, an additional 25. That means this is a guaranteed 600 piece of gear. Obviously, it's not what you want to spend your highest level mats on. You want a legendary musket at the end of the game. You don't want to be using the spear and piece. Longshot is a bow. Look at that. This one starts off at 590. A little bit to the crafting skill, a little bit to your ability, and this is a 600 only weapon. Oh, here's the same thing in this one, yeah. Right. Now, as I'm showing, if you have these items and everybody has to get the individual recipes for the legendary, which is going to be 600, right? You're going to end up with such a mess and chaos because there's items of gear you need to wear to pull up yourself by 15 points and 25 points. There's items that you need in your houses. You need to own houses everywhere. And it makes things so expensive and so unnecessary that you're really going to lose out on the best parts of your construction. You're going to lose out on being able to build the very best weapon that you can in the game. And that is because you're all fighting for the same recipes. Everybody is looking for recipes, everybody is fighting with each other internally. The rewards aren't good enough, so your prices are high. You end up making it too hard to compete with the others, and other companies end up chopping you so badly against the price when they end up with the recipes that you can't even compete with your own price. And that is the whole idea behind working as a group, to make sure that doesn't happen. These epic weapons are fantastic for you as a player at level 60. Obviously, legendary is the best, and you want legendary items for everything, but you can't always have a legendary item, so that's something to remember. If you're looking at this here, this Asmodeum, it's if I'm correct, there's a limited craft number. I believe you're only allowed to craft 10 of your highest tier items. This is one below, so it might be unlimited, but you're only allowed to craft 10 of your highest level items a day. And if you have that at your disposal, Asmodeum is required to make glistening, not glistening, I'm sorry, void ingots. I actually have the recipe for void ingots unlocked. I just need the Osmodium and I can make a void ingot. And by the way, legendary materials can be crafted at crafting level 0, but maximum crafting level gives you a chance to get excess of the material. So if you have, say, for example, 10 being crafted and you get a bonus of 1, that is such an expensive bonus, you have no idea how much you've made. You can always craft 10 for someone else and give 1 away and keep 1 for yourself for your gear that you're going to make. That is a bonus to you at the end of the day. I'm not 100% sure on that. I just want to go check. Since I'm right here in a crafting area, I just have to look for the forge. Might not be here. Oh, it's right here. Everfall isn't my place to go, just by the way. It's not unlocked over here. I think it's a bi level that it opens. I still need a lot to get there, as you can see. Still have to get to this, which is quite a massive route. Oh yeah, this isn't my stuff. Yeah, so anyway, that's just the gist of things. I hope that you all do enjoy this video. It's been a little bit of a long-winded video, and hope to see you all in the next one. Till then, have a good day.